Hey, welcome to the first ever Heartbeat podcast. I'm Alex Mykyta with Landin Chambers. Landin, we're back kind of in our old format, which was radio. Do you remember that?
It's been a few years. I think 7, coming on 8, I think.
We ended the radio time, and then COVID happened, and then I was like, let's start a business. And originally, it was not a podcast. It was not live streaming sports. It was not any of this. It was originally for more of a video commercial format, but with our media background and experience, this is just kind of the natural way that it brought us to this. And now we're doing a bi-weekly podcast.
Well, it's unfortunate, both in the local radio and local newspaper, we were both told our services were no longer needed.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the way the industry's gone, and it's unfortunate because there's obviously still a need for local information, local news. So we basically took it upon ourselves, and here we are.
It was certainly odd timing for myself, too, as COVID was right in the thick of it, and it's a good time for people to have local information when a pandemic's going on, with closures, with events not happening or the, stipulations behind it and everything like that. And then they were like, Alex, I don't think we need you anymore. Okay.
Surprising move. I mean,
yeah,
I'm a news guy, and even that got serious.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was layoffs. So I no longer had a radio job, and I was doing the radio here in Stettler for so many years, like 7 or 8 years.
At that point, yeah.
And you worked at the radio and the newspaper. And since, as we kind of look at the media landscape in this town, it's not in the best of ways currently, as no medium, whether it's the newspaper or the radio, even has an office in town anymore. So we can safely say we're the only media office in Stettler.
No, we learned just at the turn of the new year that the Stettler Independent no longer has their office at Gilbert Financial. So we are Stettler's only newsroom.
Yeah.
We came to realize.
Nice. Stettler's only newsroom.
I mean, it's got a nice ring to it.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're the Heartbeat. We're going to be publishing live videos every couple of weeks covering Stettler news, sports, events, and hopefully have some interviews as well with some people in the community.
Oh, if you know anybody that likes to talk.
Yeah. Please
direct them our way.
Direct them our way. We'd love to chat with them. I know there's lots of great people with great stories in this community, and that's kind of the idea of the Heartbeat, is to get the pulse on the community, and that involves the people that live here too. So we're looking forward to all of that. As far as the news is concerned, we were on location covering some news yesterday. Quite the story, maybe the most Stettler story I've covered in quite a while, as a truck had stopped at the lights by Boston Pizza on 50th Avenue. And as it started to go at the green light, the latch either improperly fastened or broken. I had someone mention to me on our social media that the latch was broken. And the door opened, and all of the chicken crates that they were taking to the colony in Erskine fell out.
Quite a mess on the roads, as we saw.
Yeah, so you had Canadian Tire and Burmac Mechanical with a couple of forklifts out helping get the crates back in the truck, and another testament to the community, as people always get together and help each other out in that sense. But that was quite of a mad dash to get the news out there. As far as we're concerned, I'm sitting here in my office doing whatever I'm doing, get a call from our producer here, Josh, and he's like, I've got a story for you. I'm like, okay, what story do we have? There are chickens everywhere. Do explain. Please explain what you're talking about.
I was kind of thinking the WKRP skit with the turkeys flying at first, but no, that's the joke about the 3 o'clock news cycle when you're trying to get it on for the 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Good luck. but that's always when the news breaks. And my takeaway from it was just kudos to everybody involved getting that scene cleared up in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
First rolling up to it, my thought was, my goodness, right on the main drag or on the highway there. This is going to take a bit to clean up. But like you said, the Canadian Tire folks, the Burmac Mechanical folks, 20 minutes out there with the forklifts?
Yeah.
Helping clean up the scene. So
now we don't know how many chicken casualties there were or fatalities, but it was a mess, and I think they got the crates all back onto the truck, and then they had to do what they had to do with that. But either way, that was quite the news from yesterday. It had the people talking. I was at Pool League, and people were definitely talking about the chickens on the road.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's a good example of how the community just comes together and helps everybody else.
Yeah, for sure. Other stories we're covering today on the Heartbeat. We're going to kind of go over where we were with the doctor situation and where we are now, because things have definitely turned around. We're going to talk a little bit about data centers, because the town had sent out a press release, and I guess they're changing some zoning to allow for data centers in the industrial area of town, as well. That news of the Jewel Theater, an end of an era, as the Jewel Theater will no longer be a theater. But first, let's talk about the doctor situation.
Yeah, so about a year and a half ago, we were in basically a crisis situation where if we were down to 6 doctors, and the workloads that each were facing, as we've discovered recently, a doctor already sees average of 500 to 1,000 patients on their bookload.
And we just learned that. We thought that was pretty wild,
pretty excessive. But when we were down to 6 doctors, you have to think they were in a position they can't take vacations, they can't take time off. People always need their services. The workload's constantly increasing, and
they have to do their time at the hospital too.
Well, there's this too, right? So we really saw a made in Stettler effort through the Stettler Needs Doctors group, to find a local solution, whether it was the residents buying signs, the councils ponying up the financial incentive to bring new doctors. And now we're in a position, we have 5 doctors taking patients at the hospital, or at 2 clinics, pardon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've turned around, and in a big positive way, as you can definitely look to certain individuals in the community that have really stepped up and worked together on this. Dean Lovell, he was one of the first.
The province doesn't want to have to pay for that in their budget, so the local municipalities have to. And that's really what I think we saw in this situation, was the local councils having to step up. And that's why you even look to communities to the east. Coronation still facing doctor shortages. I was just seeing it in Hardisty, so even communities bigger. Ponoka just a couple months ago. So it's unfortunate that we had to take matters into our own hands, but again, it's something great about this community, is that we find solutions to these matters. So
when there's a problem, fix it. And they did, as the doctors are looking for patients. The press release from the Health Professionals Attraction and Retention Committee said that they are pleased to share that 5 new doctors are accepting new patients. Residents who have recently lost a family doctor, want to begin doctoring locally, or who are seeking a family doctor for the first time, are encouraged to contact a clinic and request a meet and greet appointment. So if you're looking for a family doctor, now is the time to reach out and find one, because they're available.
I was actually pretty lucky myself. I was able to get one just before the shortage happened, but just the stories I've heard from people having to go to Red Deer, Camrose, outside the community to even see a specialist, or not even a specialist, but just a family doctor.
Yeah.
So
I still think the next thing that should be on the agenda, and again, this is wonderful that we've got all these doctors, but an opportunity for more timely healthcare, like a walk-in clinic, right? So if it's something that's not an emergency, but also you need to see a doctor within, the day or the next 2 days, I think that's something that the community still is looking for. You have a bit of an anecdote when you were at the doctor, as there is a walk-in clinic of sorts in town, but they see a limited number of people per day.
Yeah, basically from what we've been hearing recently, the Stettler Medical Clinic is offering 3 spots a day. Basically first come, first serve. my girlfriend was in there the other day, and I just attended with her and was taking observations in the room, and I noticed nearly a dozen or so people just coming in looking for those appointments.
And that's more than I thought would come in just by the time you were sitting there.
In about the half hour, 45 minutes you sit there waiting to see a doctor.
So who knows how many people were looking for a doctor that day through the entirety of the day, right? Not just the time you were sitting there. So I think there's still a need for that. And I know it is something that has been a conversation. I did talk to Dean Lovell about that idea as well a few months ago, and he said it's on the radar. So you never know. But just through that anecdote, definitely something that could be addressed, because I do still feel like people in this community, to no fault of their own, go to the ER when it's not necessarily an emergency, but you do still need to see a doctor. Right? So you're kind of in a tough spot. You're like, I need to see a doctor, but at the same time, I don't really want to use the ER, but I'm kind of left with no other choice. Because if I have a family doctor, call them. I would like a checkup. I've got a bad headache. And they're like, well, we can see you in 2 weeks. You're still kind of in a tough spot.
You're going to have the headache in 2 weeks?
Yeah. Right? So you just like to see someone a little bit more, a little sooner than like your family doctor. But
no, and 811 is another good resource to be able to talk to nurses throughout the province. Yeah. But again, you're talking on the phone. You can't really say, can you take a look at this?
Yeah. Take a look at this scrape. Well, I guess you could maybe with Zoom now. I don't know.
Well, again, that's what the good thing about technology is, that we are starting to incorporate things like this.
Yeah. Either way, great to see. Great work from everyone having these doctors in town. And thanks to the doctors themselves for coming to Stettler. We like living here, and we hope they do too.
No, and it's a critical thing. Your hospitals, your schools, when these institutions start to fall, these are the heart of your community, right? So
yeah. Well, let's move on to the town of Stettler, who had a press release of their own in the last week.
Yeah, so it's a story we've been covering just for a little bit here. We first started covering it in December, but basically a land use amendment in the industrial district that would allow data centers within town limits. Basically, the new council was informed just after the election during an economic development meeting that there is provincial funding available for data centers, and so they've proceeded to change the land use bylaw, but no applications before council yet. So again, it's going to be something we're keeping an eye on.
Right. So this is all just like them getting ready for the potential of. So just in case there is an application, they're ready to pursue it.
Well, and again, you'll likely have many communities around the province vying for this funding as well. Yeah. So it's kind of getting your ducks in a row for when this situation comes up.
Have you read anything? Do you know, like, in the sense of data centers, like, are they moving into smaller centers? Like, I don't know that much about data centers, but I wonder about where they're going currently.
Well, often with their energy and your water needs, you see them outside urban areas. So you could see that attraction out here. But it's basically, it comes down to your power and your energy consumption and your ability to keep them cool as well, which is why you often see them in colder climates.
Right.
As well. So.
Well, we have one of those.
No, it's not so bad right now, but a month ago. My goodness.
Yeah. And if you're watching live, you can see the temperature that we're sitting at right now in the top left corner of the screen. A nice overlay there. As well, you can check out the bottom of the screen. We've got our ticker with all of some of the latest news stories that we're covering on hometownmediastettler.ca, because of course we can't cover everything here. No. But we're covering the main points that we've been looking over and covering the last little while here. So that's interesting, though, with the data centers, of course. I will be curious to see where we go from here. Now, of course, a data center is a relatively big building with computer infrastructure to house servers and data for large media companies and technological companies.
Yeah, with all our world being online now, basically, your ability to go on Facebook, to go on your online banking, to make any kind of transaction online requires these data centers, and even your distance away from them can affect just how quickly your latency is on your devices. And so,
all right, we'll see where that news takes us over the next few months, or years or however long it takes
Mm-hmm.
for something to progress. One of the bigger stories as well, an end of an era locally, as the Jewel Theater is no longer a theater. It's been purchased by the Mennonite Church. They were looking for a bigger space, a more accessible space, and they chose the Jewel Theater.
Yeah, they were been based out of Stettler Tool and Hardware there the last couple of years. We went and chatted with the pastor at the beginning of January, and yeah, they just had a set of 12, 18 steps there that was quite a bit for some of the folks to get up. But they did tell me that no one ever fell, so that's good to hear.
That is good news. But as far as it being a theater, being built and used as one since 1953, that's the end of that.
It's tough for theaters nowadays. You really don't have that long for distribution of your films before it's ending up on Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, every other platform, right?
And there's been the trouble that's been looming for years with the theater industry and how the companies take the vast majority of ticket sales, so you have to really rely on popcorn sales and candy sales and pop, everything at the concession, right? So that doesn't help. And then again, the new age problems of people just watching their movies through streaming services and things like that. There is still definitely, I think, a market for people that want to go out and watch movies. But I think there's just too many hurdles for the movie industry to really be viable in a town of our size. But I shouldn't necessarily say that either, because there's still a theater in Ponoka. There's still one in Lacombe. Still one in Drumheller. So there are still smaller theaters that are, showing movies, doing well. Can't say how well they're doing, but they're around. So unfortunately, there just won't be one in Stettler anymore.
I do wonder if you'll see a emergence of maybe combined live theater and digital theaters in the future, because I think there is something about the experience.
Yeah.
Seeing something like an IMAX film or your war movies or something in that surround sound experience. I think there's something to that I don't know if it's going to go away, but it's definitely not a Nickelodeon anymore.
I think what people might actually miss the most, though, is the popcorn.
I mean, the layers of butter.
The Jewel Theater had some legendary popcorn for years. I know people that would just go to the theater and buy the popcorn, go home. Movie, just go get some popcorn.
People were buying the popcorn by the bags.
They were. Yeah, that's true. But Mennonite Church, we hope that you really enjoy the space. I think you will. It's a nice big spot for your services. And it's just nice to see that it's being utilized, because it was sitting there vacant for over 2 years, I think.
No, it was about that. So
yeah, so nice to see it's been purchased and that they will utilize it. I will throw to you now, Landon, for some budget news, as the County of Stettler approved the 2026 budget.
Yeah, the county council and staff, they've been spending the past few weeks going over the upcoming budget. They were looking at a 2% increase to the residential, non-residential classes, 8% increase to farmland assessments. So that nearly $32 million budget came back to council yesterday. That was approved, and also in that $3.1 million for capital projects, so your water lines, sewer lines, truck fills, that sort of thing there. No, mainly it's the inflation we're seeing everywhere. We have set budgets, and if your revenues aren't going up to match those expenses, you got to look at your budgets closer. So,
and keep in mind too that when the local governments, when they send out their budgets as the population of Stettler and of the county, you can go and review them and send your feedback. So that's closed now, but it has been approved.
The budget will be coming back in the spring here once we get the assessments in, but the feedback period did close yesterday there. So
sounds good. All right. The last thing on the show I'd like to mention today, because we're live streaming it tomorrow, January 30th, would be the Imperials game, as the Imperials are hosting the Provost Combines, and the Combines are 10-5, sit 4th in the league. Imperials are 14-1-1, first in the league. So this could be a potential playoff matchup down the road too. So come to the rec center, cheer on the Imperials. It's going to be a good game.
No, I thought Provost looked pretty sharp in their first matchup this year.
Yeah. And I did talk to one of the board members from the Imperials this morning just to ask like how the playoff format kind of worked. There isn't a bye. So the Imperials will start right away in a playoff series after the season concludes on February 7th. And then the following weekend, the tentative date is February 13th for the first home game, playoff game, which will be here in Stettler at the rec center because Stettler, of course, is first place.
Ooh, a little pre-Valentine's matchup.
Yeah, so we're going to be busy. We've got one tomorrow, then February 7th. I think that's the day for the final game. And then the following weekend for playoffs.
Oh, we're always in a crunch this time of year.
So, yeah, definitely. And now we got a podcast that we're trying to do every couple of weeks.
Oh,
So,
look at us.
We're just making more work for ourselves on a daily basis.
That's us.
We've been doing that for a couple of years now. That's the heartbeat for January 29th. I want to welcome as well Solution Corp as our title sponsor going forward. So we haven't necessarily had time for this episode. We just learned of the news that they're going to be our sponsor this morning. So now we're going to start organizing things and make sure that all of our ducks in a row for sponsorship for Solution Corp. But we sincerely appreciate it and helping us do what we do. As well, make sure to visit hometownmediastettler.ca for more on these stories. And whether it's here on YouTube or on Spotify, which is where we will also have the audio from this episode. Thanks for listening and watching the show. And before you go, make sure to like and subscribe, as we're always looking for more YouTube channel subscribers. We're at just over 720 now, and we can get monetized if we get over 1,000. So if you're watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's free. It just helps our channel. I'm Alex. That's Landin Chambers. This is the Heartbeat Podcast, and we'll see you at the game tomorrow night. Catch the live stream as well on our YouTube channel. Have a wonderful day and take care.